Hey, and welcome to the AI Timeline channel. If you like the podcast, please leave a like and subscribe. Now have fun with the podcast.
Ah, yes, the classic intro. It never gets old, does it? But speaking of things that do get old, you ever notice how quickly AI seems to forget what you just told it?
Yeah, it's like talking to a goldfish, like well, with a
Right,
PhD.
right.
He explains something super complex, and then like 2 seconds later, it's right back to square one.
Exactly.
So maybe not so different from, some people I've met.
Well, imagine if your AI assistant couldn't remember any of your past interactions,
Oh, man.
your preferences, your goals. It'd be like starting from scratch every single time. Not exactly the seamless AI co-pilot experience we're all hoping for.
No, not at all. And you know what? It turns out there's actually a reason for all this AI amnesia. We've been looking into some Microsoft research, and they're tackling a pretty major roadblock. That is AI's memory limitations.
Mm.
So it seems like even with all the hype about these trillion parameter models, they're still hitting a wall when it comes to how much they can actively remember while they're running.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is that we're not even talking about like storage space on a hard drive.
Right.
This is active memory, the information an AI model needs to hold in its mind to be able to process information and generate responses. And even with the most powerful GPUs, we're hitting a ceiling.
So it's almost like trying to run a massive program on a phone with barely any RAM, right?
Exactly.
No wonder my AI assistant keeps forgetting my name. But what's the solution? What's Microsoft doing about this?
So they've developed something called ZeRO-Infinity. And it's pretty groundbreaking. It goes beyond just relying on GPU memory and cleverly utilizes CPU and NVMe memory as well. You can think of it like expanding your phone's RAM by tapping into the cloud. Suddenly you have way more memory to play with.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But how does this actually work?
Yeah.
In practice, it can't be as simple as just like borrowing memory from other sources, right?
Right. ZeRO-Infinity uses a bunch of clever techniques to manage this expanded memory pool efficiently. One of these is memory-centric tiling. So imagine you're working on a giant jigsaw puzzle, but your table's too small to lay out all the pieces at once.
I feel personally attacked, but okay, go on.
So instead of trying to fit the whole puzzle in at once, you break it down into smaller sections, and you work on them one at a time. Memory-centric tiling does something very similar with the layers of a giant AI model,
Okay.
breaking them down into smaller chunks that can be processed without needing the entire model loaded into memory all at the same time.
Gotcha. So it's like those loading screens in video games where it only loads the section you're currently playing.
Exactly.
Except this is for AI models with trillions of parameters. Speaking of, how many parameters are we talking about with ZeRO-Infinity? Give me a number that'll make those like and subscribe buttons irresistible.
All right, hold on to your hats. ZeRO-Infinity can handle models with up to 32 trillion parameters, and they're already aiming for 100 trillion. To put that in perspective, one of the most advanced language models today, GPT-3, has only 175 billion parameters.
Wow, that's a massive leap.
Huge.
But before we get too lost in the numbers, let's break this down for our listeners a little bit.
Yeah.
What exactly is a parameter in this context, and why is a higher number so significant?
You can think of parameters as the connections between the neurons in an artificial neural network. They represent the knowledge and relationships that the model has learned. The more parameters, the more nuanced and complex the model's understanding of the world becomes.
So more parameters essentially mean a smarter AI.
You can think about it that way. It's not quite that simple. But generally speaking, yes, more parameters allow for a greater capacity to store information, learn patterns, and make more sophisticated connections.
Okay, so we've gone from AI that forgets everything to AI with a near infinite memory capacity. It begs the question, what does this mean for the future of AI? Are we really on the verge of having AI companions that remember every interaction, every lesson learned, every whispered secret?
Well, that's what we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive. We'll go beyond the technical details and into the realm of AI that never forgets. Buckle up, because it's going to get philosophical. Welcome back to the AI Timeline channel, where we're diving deeper into the implications of AI with a near infinite memory.
After that last segment, I've been thinking about all those sci-fi movies where the AI becomes super intelligent and takes over the world. I mean, is that where we're headed?
Well, let's not jump to any apocalyptic conclusions just yet. While the idea of AI that remembers everything might seem a bit unsettling, it's important to remember that we're still talking about tools here, not sentient beings.
Tools that can remember every embarrassing story you've ever told them.
Right.
That's a level of judgment I'm not sure I'm ready for.
Okay, point taken. But think about the potential benefits here. Imagine an AI assistant that remembers not just your appointments and your to-do list, but also your long-term goals, your learning style, your personal preferences. It could help you stay organized, motivated, and on track to achieve your dreams.
Okay, that sounds a bit more appealing than the robot overlords scenario. But how do we make sure that AI with this level of memory capacity is used for good and not for, say, like manipulating people with hyper-personalized ads or something?
Yeah, that's a valid concern. As AI becomes more sophisticated and integrated into our lives, ethical considerations become absolutely crucial. We need to ensure that these systems are developed and deployed responsibly with safeguards in place to prevent misuse.
So we're talking about things like data privacy, transparency, and making sure AI doesn't perpetuate existing biases.
Exactly. We need to think carefully about how we train these models, what data we feed them, and how we control their access to information. It's kind of like raising a child. You want to give them the tools and knowledge to thrive, but also instill values and boundaries to make sure they use their abilities for good.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But even with the best intentions, there's always the potential for unintended consequences, right? Like, what happens if AI becomes so good at remembering and predicting our behavior that it starts making decisions for us instead of with us?
That's a very slippery slope that we need to be extremely careful about. The goal should be to augment human intelligence, not replace it. AI should be a tool that empowers us to make better decisions, not a system that takes away our agency.
So it sounds as we're not just talking about technological advancements, but a fundamental shift in how we think about our relationship with AI. It's not just about asking a chatbot a question and getting an answer. It's about building a long-term partnership with a system that learns and evolves alongside us.
Exactly. And that partnership requires trust, transparency, and ongoing communication. We need to be able to understand how AI is making decisions, provide feedback, and adjust its behavior as needed.
It sounds like we're talking about a whole new level of AI literacy. Not just understanding how to use the tools, but also understanding the ethical implications, the potential risks, and how to ensure that AI remains aligned with human values.
You hit the nail on the head. We need to move beyond the hype and the fear and start having some open and honest conversations about the future that we want to create with AI. And those conversations need to involve everybody, not just the tech experts. After all, we're all going to be living in this AI-powered future, so we all have a stake in shaping it.
Well said. And speaking of shaping the future, let's move on from the hypothetical to the practical. In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to be exploring some real-world examples of how this AI that never forgets is already starting to impact our lives. Welcome back to the AI Timeline channel. It's time to bring this whole AI that never forgets thing down to earth and look at what it actually means for us, right here, right now.
Absolutely. You know, we've talked a lot about the potential of this near infinite AI memory, but the truth is it's already starting to shape our world in some pretty remarkable ways.
Okay, so hit me with some real-world examples. Where are we seeing this tech in action?
Well, one area where it's making a huge impact is in personalized education.
Okay.
Think about platforms like Khan Academy or Duolingo, but on steroids. With this kind of memory capacity, AI can track a student's entire learning journey. Remember every concept they've grasped and everyone they struggled with. It can tailor lessons in real time, adjust the pace, and even predict when a student might need extra support, even before they realize it themselves.
So it's like having a personal tutor that's available 24/7 and actually remembers everything you've learned.
Exactly.
Sign me up. But wouldn't that require like an insane amount of data processing? Like how can AI keep up with millions of students all learning simultaneously?
Well, that's where the magic of ZeRO-Infinity comes in. By efficiently managing memory resources, it allows these AI systems to handle massive amounts of data without getting bogged down. It's like having a super efficient librarian who can instantly pull up any book you need from a library the size of the universe.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be a game changer for education. What other fields are being transformed by this kind of AI?
Well, healthcare is another area that is ripe for disruption. Imagine an AI assistant that has access to your entire medical history, from your childhood vaccinations to your latest blood test results. It could analyze all of this data, identify patterns, and alert your doctor to potential risks before they even become apparent in a traditional checkup.
That's that's both incredibly cool and a little bit creepy. It feels like we're kind of entering an era where AI knows more about our bodies than we do,
Right.
but I guess if it leads to better diagnoses and treatments, it's worth exploring.
Absolutely. It's definitely a balancing act between leveraging the power of this technology and ensuring its ethical and responsible use. We need to be mindful of data privacy, security, and making sure that these AI systems are used to empower patients, not replace the human element of healthcare.
It's a lot to consider. But ultimately, it seems like AI, with near infinite memory, has the potential to unlock some incredible advancements in fields ranging from education and healthcare and beyond.
It really is an exciting time to be following this technology. As AI continues to evolve and learn, who knows what other possibilities will emerge?
Well, folks, there you have it. We've gone from the limitations of AI memory to the potential of AI that remembers everything. It's a future filled with both promise and challenges. But one thing is for sure, it's a future we can't ignore.
Thank you very much for listening. Leave a like and subscribe. Until next time.
And remember, stay curious.